There are so many options out there when it comes to Lathe Centres and drive centres that it has become a source of confusion for new woodturners. So in this video, we're going to try and demystify some of the options that are out there and hopefully shed some light as to what ones you actually need. So what is a Lathe Centre and a drive centre? Well, as the name suggests, a drive centre is used to drive your workpiece on the lathe by being mounted into the headstock and digging its prongs into the workpiece to grip and provide positive drive. A Lathe centre, on the other hand, is free spinning and is intended to be mounted on the tailstock side of the lathe and provide inline pressure against the drive centre while offering additional support and alignment to the workpiece. Now, there are two main styles of drive centres. The first is a spur sampler. A spur centre is what most people think of when thinking about a drive centre. It features either 2 or 4 large prongs that can dig deep into the workpiece and come with either a solid or spring-loaded center point or easily repeatable indexing with just a central divot point. This style of drive centre is suited to both spindle turning and bowl turning and is the go-to for softwoods and greenwoods where you need the prongs to dig deep into the workpiece and give plenty of positive drive to ensure things don't strip. As for whether to choose a solid or spring-loaded center point, there is no real clear advantage of a fixed point over a spring-loaded point other than ease of manufacturing, while on the other hand, a spring-loaded point has less risk of splitting the workpiece as the cone will retract as pressure is applied. It's also easy to repair or replace just the center pin in case of any damage, which is something I quite like. The second style of drive is a crown center. A crown center, which is also known as a step center, has the same core function as a spur center, which is to provide drive, but uses a ton of little teeth that dig into the workpiece at a much shallower depth. Just like many of the spur centers, a crown center also has a spring-loaded center point, meaning it will retract once pressure is applied. This makes them more suitable for spindle work on hardwoods where the fibres are less likely to strip out once the load is applied. But this tendency to strip the fibres in softwoods can actually be desirable, especially on delicate turnings where you prefer the drive centre to strip and spin rather than a catch, causing your workpiece to explode. Now, there's no point in having a drive centre if you haven't got a Lathe centre, so let's look at those next. A cupped ring Lathe centre is probably the most common centre that is supplied with new lathes. It has a conical centre point that protrudes past a shallow thin-walled rim and it resembles a bit of a cup. The theory of this is that the centre point can be used for alignment and accurate positioning, while the depth of engagement will be limited to where the cup or ring makes contact with the workpiece. Once the cup is pressed against the workpiece, the contact area is greatly increased, allowing more pressure to be applied to the drive side while removing the risk of overdriving the cone. It's pretty similar to a crown Lathe centre in this regard, but as it hasn't got a retractable centre point, it certainly does hold up better against loads in softer wood. This is a pretty universal style of centre and can be used on almost any application. Hardwood, softwood, greenwood, it's all good. Get it? A crowned Lathe centre is practically identical to its drive counterpart as far as its functions and benefits are concerned, but it just spins freely thanks to a bearing. This style of centre is more suited to hardwoods and delicate turnings, but as the function of a Lathe centre is less reliant on its teeth keeping grip and more about providing positive pressure into the driven side, you can get away with using it in a lot more application than its driven twin. The main consideration of this style is that the centre point will retract, so you are going to be relying on the teeth of the crown to hold its position, which is why it's definitely more suited to hardwoods. The 60-degree Lathe centre is a very popular option. It's a free spinning cone that is machined at a 60-degree angle and it usually has a pretty large diameter. This style of centre is useful for a really large range of applications, but what really sets it apart from other styles is its large diameter, making it useful for items like vessels and vases where there is an opening that the cone can wedge into to centre it up that way. This style of centre is great for spindle work and shaping bowl blanks. It allows for excellent tool access thanks to its shape, though you do need to be mindful of how much pressure you apply, as it's quite possible to drive the cone into your workpiece too deep, splitting it. Now, there are a lot more specialized centers on the market that we haven't covered in this video series, so make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on that follow-up. Like always, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, it would be great to see them down in the comments below. I'll have links to all the products shown in this video and more down in the description, so if you want to check that out, that's where it will be. Thanks for watching, happy turning, we'll see you next time.